Okay, sounds like live. Okay, start it.
All right. Okay. Hello, Christina.
Hello, Lubit.
Um,
Good morning on a great Sunday morning.
Good morning. We are back after a gap of 2 weeks, and things have changed a lot last 2 weeks. So we are in Donald Trump's America now.
Yeah, we have a new president and a new interesting event because now we don't know what's going to happen. So it's a great opportunity to be anti-fragile and adapting to what's going on.
Anti-fragile and adapting.
Exactly.
Adapting, I understand. We got to adapt to change, you mean, right?
We have to adapt because, at least for me, after 16 months of listening to President-elect Trump, I don't know what he's thinking because he changes his mind all the time. So it's like, I don't know, right? Does he mean this or that? So it is for me, for me, in my personal experiences, it was very hard for me to trust on my personal friends, people that change their minds, because I didn't know what to expect. So now that I see a president that, I don't know, one day he says yes and another day he says no, he changes his mind all the time. I'm not sure. It's it's almost like a reset button on the country. And it would be interesting to see what happens, it's like a new page.
Okay. All right. So I have something in my mind to discuss with you
All right.
today. And this comes up with one of the constellation sessions you did years back
Okay.
of a person, and it gave me this idea, this insight into it, that things are not as I was looking at before.
Mm-hmm.
Now here was in that constellation session a person who seemed very determined in his search for God. So he came into you, and maybe he had some confusion, so he came in. But he was like, my life right now, he was probably in late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
I want to go on my search for God. And then something came up, and then he revealed a little more about himself. And then he said that he has a girlfriend.
Uh-huh. Hello? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So he recently was in a relationship and had a child, an infant, and then something came up. He met some people. His desire to search for God became stronger in him, and he was on to his journey for finding God, leaving everything aside. And looking at him, I thought, oh wow, that looks amazing. That's what we have heard back in India. Search for God. God's love is the highest. There is nothing more compared to, it's called the effort the human being can do. We all go for money, go for homes, go for family. Beyond all this is God. And look at this man; he is on to it, going forward for that. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but when I saw you working with him, you just worked in totally opposite way. You were telling him, as you looked at his family history, and the same thing happened to his father. His father left him when he was infant, when he was in that maybe for 6 months or a year or something. And he was doing the same thing. And you said, my dear, when you are saying you are searching for God, you're actually not searching for God. You're actually repeating a family pattern. And I was like, what? So can you tell us, what went in you, how you've come to that conclusion, and, this whole phenomena of searching for God is actually not search for God, something else?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Wow. What a great question. So, when we are born, we carry we have a pure soul, right? In the tradition of the Vaishnavas, 60% of us is God, right? We are infused with a pure soul. I know in the Bhagavatam it says that all the cells in our body have consciousness. Does that make sense? But we're also conditioning, right?
Yeah.
So what's this conditioning? This conditioning comes from ancestors, way from our family line. We inherit some wonderful traits, but we also inherit whatever the traumas, the repetitions, and we are repeating the conditioning of the family soul, just because we are born in that family soul, and that is probably unconscious. That's because trauma repeats itself. So the forces, when I saw that in the constellation, that that he's repeating his father, this is a man that have never experienced the love of a father. He had never experienced what it is to be held, to be hugged by the father. He has never experienced the protection of dad, right? He has never, he was never in any of his birthdays. He never taught him how to swim, how to play. So can you imagine that? I have 2 grandchildren, and when their father goes on a business trip of 2 days, they cry because they miss their dad. You believe it? 10 and 12. Because dad is such an important center of the life of a child. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So he is a man repeating the fate. Having a child, moving on, meeting a religious community, and then saying, okay, I'm going to study to be a monk now. Because he found somebody in the community in the role of a father. Who helped him, who gave him the thing, the money, the whatever, the support. So I'm suspicious of that kind of movement, and I would say that when you have a child, and when you make it, even though you did it out of the forces of the unconscious, also you have a responsibility, even by material considerations and also spiritual regulations, to support that family, because that's where God is. The search of God is in your fulfilling your responsibility. That's one area. The other area is this man is desperately needing the love of his father that he never had. And in looking for God, he's saying to us I need my dad, but he doesn't know how to do that. And he will never find God outside of himself. God is in that soul, in that sensing of that soul that you already have. But because he didn't have a dad, and I don't know about the mom, but certainly he didn't have a dad. There is a big hole in the emotional, makeup of these young men. And unless he really comes to grip with that and resolves that for himself, for his father, and for his children, the idea of God is going to elude him for the rest, because he's just repeating a conditioned pattern. Okay, I leave you here because I said a lot of stuff.
Yeah, because I got so many questions in between. Let me see, I have 3 questions in mind where I want to go. One thing where I want to go is once you said your point about desperately looking, this looking out for something in desperation.
Yeah.
Can I take this as a clue that whenever I feel myself desperate for something, desperate for a job promotion, desperate for this home, desperate for a girl, do I say, is there something going on beyond what the external circumstances are showing?
That's a very, very important question. And if you ask that question, what is this desperation pointing to? What is a deeper need that I have right now? If you pay attention to the desperation, it will point to a deeper need. And it will save you from having a job and another job and another job, because you could be desperate all your life unless you resolve the need or the impulse that's fueling the desperation.
It certainly is. I mean, I've thought about it, but probably haven't reached farther enough that some light showed up. For example, in my job, I've always been, I want to prove myself good. Always.
I want to what?
I want to prove myself
Right.
that I'm wonderful.
Uh-huh.
I'm cut above the rest. Two questions. Okay, let's hold on to that point. Well, first question I want to say is, even if there is something, say for example, even if in that man's journey it was something of his childhood pushing him to do something, or say for example Donald Trump, what it was, maybe in his childhood it was some shame which he's trying to get over with, and that pushed him to do something, right?
Right.
Even if it was that, if a person gets somewhere with that fuel in life, isn't that great? He became president. I might become a CEO, with this idea of, I got to do something. There's something coming in from the past.
The amazing part is that let's look at it beyond duality. Is not that if your value is to be a CEO, maybe that's great. And at the same time, that desire to be good and perfect in the travel for higher consciousness, and in the travel, the thing about searching for God is that we got it wrong. God is searching for us, literally. And so the journey is not outside, it's actually to find out or to really get in touch with our soul, to really be who we are. And so that's why this young man will find God as he assumes his responsibilities to find out who you are, so that at the same time he could find what a father is like, and he can have the opportunity, with the help of all the spiritual community and his practices and everything else, to be the father he never had. And in doing that, he's redeeming, in a way, his father himself, and stopping the son from doing the same thing he did. Is that making sense?
Yes. The one thing I got was...
So there's an impulse that maybe, I mean, that's my journey too. My impulse was really, I want to stop suffering. That led me, if I didn't have that impulse, I wouldn't be here talking to you. But that impulse got transformed as God kind of reached out to me in many ways, and I was able to take one step and the other and learn. Is that making sense? So what I wanted to do when I was 30, I don't want to do anymore. My dream, I want to be married and have, I don't know, a house in the ocean is not my dream right now. Because the dream changes as I found out what my real needs were. Huh?
Yeah. So in one sense, one of the, are you saying that in my goal of finding myself, I'll go farther from that if I keep following those patterns?
Exactly. You will reach where you wanted because you don't know how to get there. I didn't know how to find myself. It's a moment of grace, actually. But you do need some determination, you need some sense of passion, you need some sense of something that moves you forward, right? Whatever that is, I want to be the best. Oh, great, go ahead. And maybe one day you will get, gee, I want to serve these people. Like I teach at NYU, and now I'm amazed. First I said, oh my God, I'm afraid to teach. You know what they're going to find, and they're going to criticize me, and I want to be the best and get a good evaluation. And right now, I'm putting a candle, I'm putting stones, I'm praying for my students, and I'm trying to deliver the best I can. It's a very different mood inside of me. Right? Because now, just by teaching the class, I am so fulfilled myself because I've done the best work I can. And that nourishes my soul. Whether before it was more on the anxiety level, right? Am I doing a good job, not a good job? How they gonna rate me? You know, am I gonna lose the job? It was another. So throughout the journey, the feelings shift, and if you're learning how to be in the world, and how to enter, and how to deal, the more you, because I didn't know much about anything, but it gets transformed by doing your duty, by doing what you need to do perfectly well. So if this man does his duty perfectly well, just in trying to do that, it will take years because there is a lot of conditioning to be cleaned in order to do that well. In order to look at somebody else and see God in them, it takes a lot of cleaning. I'm still cleaning.
Yeah, I see few the people are online. I see 5 people watching us. So if anyone wants to take this conversation in any direction and have a question, comment, please feel free to post it in the comment section and I'll read it out and we can talk about that. In English, please. I see some Spanish comments.
That's my sister in Buenos Aires, believe it or not,
Okay.
who cannot understand English. Don't worry, she has to learn something. Okay.
Okay. So, interesting you told this idea about duty.
Mm-hmm.
And one other thing I've always, I don't know if I should, that's a big topic, so we're already half an hour into the conversation. Let's touch that topic too and maybe we'll expand on it. You are sort of saying one should do one's duty, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the past, I know you don't like the word should.
I hate it, but my reptilian brain doesn't like should.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So I started loving you because you don't like the word should, and once you start throwing the should, I'm like, oh my God, that person threw
Okay,
should at me.
well, let me say, forget the should because I don't like it myself. I want to say to you that the more I accept it, because in my life I tried to avoid what I was doing because I wanted to be somebody else. I wanted to be someplace else. I wanted to be rich and famous, an opera singer, everything that I wasn't. So what I'm meaning to say, and if somebody said to me, you should accept, I would have killed them. So I understand. But what has happened in my life, that through all of this journey of accepting, taking responsibility for, like saying, okay, I am here, right? And I'm working at the Department of, and you know, the one that helped me a lot was Romapara Swami, because I did like the young man. I went to him in 1990. I was working at the Department of Education, and I said to him, oh, great, now I should quit and go to the temple and do garlands. And he says, no, you have to do your work perfectly. Hmm? And that was like a shocker. I said, oh, what does that mean, right? So I guess the first thing he meant is I used to get to work with coffee and the newspaper. So there was no more coffee and no more newspaper. So that's what I'm talking about, the daily cleaning up and accepting, okay, I mean, how do I do my best job here? That was so transformative. Uh-huh. Because I had to look at all the things I was doing wrong, right, and face them. All the things, I said, what am I doing here? I'm kind of, what am I trying, you know? It was like social life. It wasn't even a job. So that was purifying, to say the least, in a good sense of the world, because as I tried that, I found talents I didn't know. I found defects, I found opportunities, and I started finding parts of my soul. So I'm not saying you should, I'm saying I'm inviting everybody to look for their soul. I'm inviting everybody to try to accept your station in life and be there present with love. Clean the bathroom with love. Because that's what you're doing. Be be present to what you are doing is essential. That's what I mean by your duty.
I like it, yes. Now
You like it now?
Yes.
I'm so happy because I want you to like it.
Because it reminds me of something which stayed with me. I heard from you years back. I have read so many parenting books, attended so many parenting seminars, this and that. And one day you told me, you know what? You should just have fun with your kid. I'm like, yes, I can do that one for sure. And I realized that was such a big parenting tip. Instead of thinking I should do this, I should do that, just have fun with kids, which is like what you are saying right now. Whatever you do it with full presence, with full love, right?
So I see that Anup, I have a question that I'm reading. The other questions, maybe you could read them because I can't read them. I don't know how to work these two well. Oh, gee.
Yeah, that's where I was going. So, Anup, if you could little bit clarify more of that question, how to get out of duality, we'll talk about that. And Hima's question, I could understand. And she's saying, how do we recognize what are we supposed to do in life?
By exactly doing what I just told you. Whatever you're doing now, do it fully present and say, follow Srila Ramapara Swami's, do it perfectly.
So you will say, I'm doing my job, I do it perfectly.
I am doing perfectly. Now, I hate the word perfect too because there is no perfect. But for me, meant be there and say, first of all, there is all the practices. Call your soul. I call my soul every night and every morning and every afternoon. I say, like a personal prayer besides the regulative prayers is, I thank you for my soul. And say, I want to feel my soul, right? I want to be here. I want to clean the kitchen with my soul. And how can I put some love into this? So love not in a feeling way, but saying I accept it. And live your life with gratitude. Thank you for my breath today. I'm like 76 every morning. I say, gee, I'm glad I woke up. Thank you so much. Right?
Yeah.
And what do I need to do right now? So that's what I mean. And if you do that, you're out of duality.
Okay.
You can be out of duality in the moment you're fully present, offering your job in service. So you could count the moments of duality in your life, because the moment you have that moment, grace shows up immediately and you feel so wonderful. Like in the middle of a tragedy, you could feel like, wow, this is a beautiful moment.
How do you relate to duality? I didn't understand that.
Duality is, I don't like this, I like that. I hate cleaning the bathroom. You get out of duality when you say, thank you, God, that I have a bathroom, right? Or at least a taste of getting out of duality. And let me clean it with love. Let me be here with this bathroom. Why? Because this is what I have right now. Right? And so I'm going to be here where I am. With joy and interest. Let me see how I can clean this bathroom in a way that it shines, that is an offering to life and joy. If we did that, we kind of help ourselves get out of duality. And you get out of duality by grace. You can't get out of duality by yourself, but you can at least try, right?
Okay. Hema has further comments and it says, I realize that so far all my decisions have been determined by someone else wanted me like or to do. How do I navigate this transition of my awareness of willingness to accept myself as I am? Let me just read it again to get this fully in.
Yeah.
Realize that so far all my decisions have been determined by someone else wanted me to like or to do. Yes, someone else wanted
Yeah.
me, wanted
So,
me to do that.
so this is what happens. We come into this planet and mom and dad tell us what to do, right?
Yeah.
How old is Emma? Okay, so this is the time. So eventually you come from probably a society that's collective, where everybody tells everybody what to do, right? India, right?
Yeah.
So that's important because that's heavy culture. It's easy if you are in America because here is a very individualistic culture. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, given the cultural restraints, one of the things that could help that helps you when you are used to that is to have a practice of silence by yourself, and really either by writing or having somebody help you find out what are your wishes, what are your needs, to be able to for you to track what your feelings are, what your needs are, and what is it that you want to express, right? And when you hear what you need to do, also find what is it that I want to do. So you begin easy by identifying what is it that you need. Because if you don't know what you need, you can't do anything about it. And then you'll go to a level of being able to express one or two needs, right? And then maybe, who knows, you go slowly, one step after another, and the road will open up naturally for you. But it is important to find what your feelings are and what your needs are.
So you said a moment of silence, some silence, which basically it seems the silence is necessary to get.
And silence doesn't mean words. Silence means maybe you could take 15 minutes and write a journal every day. What is it that I need today? What is it that I feel? Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you don't speak. It means you're not listening to anybody else. A time of listening to yourself and to your inner feeling. And writing is a good thing. Writing a journal every day that starts, today I needed, today I felt frustrated, I felt angry. So to really get who you are, and get to know more or less what you feel every day and why.
Okay. Very good. I posted the links, the NVC links for needs inventory and feelings inventory. That helped me always to get to, at least it gives me some pointers about this or that, what do I need, how I feel.
How I feel, how do I need? Sometimes you cannot fulfill your needs, but at least you know what they are.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you, Lubit, for another amazing conversation.
Okay. All right.
And thank you, everybody who was listening.
All right. Thank you for your time. We'll talk again next Sunday.
Okay, Hari.